If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I could probably end the list right there, but I'm going to continue. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. Speaking from personal experience, creating a podcast felt so overwhelming. I didn't know where to start, but using Anchor was a no-brainer. Their website and app is user-friendly. You're able to navigate through it easily. It's pretty cool, guys. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. A one-stop shop. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello. This is Indie Center Podcast, the original, and I am here with David W. Johnson, also known as DJ or Mr. DJ, Film Man, and his co-producer, Miss Carla Stillwell, or
Miss Stillwell if you're nasty.
Yeah, yes. That part. That part.
That's how it is.
We are quarantined right now, so we're each in our own quarters. We're in our own homes. I'm in Minnesota. We got our own ambiance going. I got my fireplace in the background, set it up real sexy for you. Miss Carla is sipping her glass. I got the rhinestones on it, real sexy.
Yes, a little Jackson and ginger.
Okay.
Yes.
So we real comfortable and relaxed right now. So you're gonna get the best of us over the course.
Oh, no doubt, very comfortable and relaxed. Yes.
So this is an artist moment with some incredible creators and filmmakers. Today we are here with the team of Spokes. We have both producers, DJ and Miss Stillwell, because we nasty. We will later be joined by some members of the cast. This is a must-see horror thriller about sex trafficking in Chicago. Did I get it right?
Human trafficking really is the umbrella that it sits under. Sex trafficking is one of those things, along with forced labor and organ harvesting.
Good to know. Okay. Well, Dave and Miss Carla, collectively, I understand you have over 60 years of experience in the arts.
Oh, no, that's a typo. That should say Carla has over 60 years, period.
Lies. I do not. Let me tell you something. She is only 564 months old, so she cannot have 60 years experience, okay? She is a mere tender 564 months old.
Yeah, collectively between the two of us, we have over 30 years each. Yeah. I think you performed when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, actually, I have 37 years.
Yeah.
Got my first check as an actor when I was 10.
Wow. Okay, so she's been collecting checks since she was very young.
There are not enough checks. There are not enough checks to discuss. Let us say that. But she collected them.
Okay.
They were collected.
All right.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Where did each of you get your start?
Dave?
Well, I started, I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been acting. I acted all 4 years of high school, all 4 years of college. I went to Tuskegee University, left there. Worked at the St. Louis Black Repertory Theater Company from 92 to 94 as a full-time actor, and then moved to Chicago in 96, did theater here until about 1998 when I decided to start my first company, which was Showcase Productions. And along with my partner, Rodney Brand, we shot a feature called Severed Ties, which we got picked up for domestic and international distribution. So I've been doing this for a long time. Started out, like I said, as a full-time actor. Did some modeling work, some print work, some commercial work. What?
You was a model?
Oh, yeah.
They used to be fine back in the day.
I was a little easy on the eyes in my 20s. Let me put it like that.
one of these funny-eyed colored Negroes.
I came up during the time
he was out here DeBarging.
There you go, Christopher Williams, DeBarge, Prince. Come on now, it was a lovely time to be light.
It was, man.
Then that goddamn Wesley Snipes came out there, had that scene in Mo Better Blues, ruined it for light-skinned men forever. That was it. That was it. One dark-skinned man making love on the balcony just ruined it for light-skinned brothers.
And at that moment, your time was up.
That was it. My time. That was it. I rode off into the sunset. But in my 20s, it was on.
So tell me, what is the inspiration behind your work, your productions, why you create and do what you do?
Carla, talk about your stuff this time, man.
Oh, God, all my stuff. So, okay, I'm just going to, I was raised by a painter. Mm-hmm. And
I don't know why I thought you was getting ready to say you were raised by gypsies. It just felt like that's
what you were about to say. Listen, because I took that pause. And it's part of my comedic genius, actually. My timing is impeccable. So I was raised by this painter.
So modest.
And so modest. And she was insane. And she raised all four of my sisters and I to just be like artsy-fartsy and insane. So I started acting when I was 10. Did it all. I've been on stage since then. That's what I went to Columbia College here in Chicago. I'm a Chicago native, born and raised South Side. Did that, then left college and was like acting and touring and all of that foolishness. And then I got sick of dealing with white people. So I went and I found this group of Black actors and musicians and stuff. And it was Impact Theater, the My Production Association of Africans in the Theater. And they were Black and ridiculous. And I was like, these are my people. This is my land. So I was there for 22 years. I was the artistic director for the last 10 years I was there. And then I woke up one day and I was like, I'm sick of theater. So I left. And not even in a huff. I was just like, I want to do something different. Because I'm a playwright and a director and an actor. So I've done all that foolishness. And then I was like, yeah, I just want to do shit where I find money to give to other artists to create art. So I started 2 years ago at this point, the Stillwell Institute for Contemporary Black Art. Mm-hmm. Really not named after me, but named after my crazy mama. Okay. So I am motivated by Black art and Black artists in Chicago, especially people mid-career who didn't get the same permission I got from their families to just be an artist and to live as an artist. And I want Black artists to understand that you can eat and live indoors. You don't have to be a starving artist. That's not necessary. If we are a collective, if we are a we, and we feed each other's mediums, because part of the problem is Black artists are so separate. You're over here doing theater, you're dancing, you're doing film, and we don't like work in community together and support each other and fundraise together. So that's my goal right now in life.
And see, that's one of the, I was going to say, that's one of the multitude of ways that Carla and I connect, our energies connect, because I'm huge on collaboration like that also. Big proponent of not only collaboration amongst filmmakers, but interdisciplinary through the different arts. I love working with painters, and my poster design for Spokes was not done by a graphic artist. It was done by a mural artist. It was a brother named Damon Reed, who actually painted my poster for me. The score is being done by a very talented musician here in Chicago, a brother named Sean Wallace. So it's this whole idea of working with different artists, in this very collaborative form. And filmmaking is, of course, the most collaborative form in the world, right?
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dave and I this is our second collaboration.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, but we've been friends in the theater community, arts community together for years. But when I was probably moving into something that you were going to ask, but when I started the residency with my theater company at the place where we shot Spokes,
right.
I thought of Dave. I was like, this would be a dream to let a filmmaker come into this space and just do whatever. So I invited him to meet me there and just look at it. Like, you look at the space because I feel like you need to see the space. And then what happened?
You ever had somebody try to sell you a house or try to sell you an apartment or some shit like that, and they downsell it because they know all they got to do is get you in the space and you're going to buy it?
Right.
That's what she did to me. She was just like, oh, when you feel like it, I think this would be a great place for you to come shoot. If you feel like it. Dude, I fell in love the second I walked up in there. She knew she hooked me. She knew she had me from the second I walked up in there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's what, teamwork is, like knowing your partner so well, where you know that I feel that this is going to happen. This is real. It's just a natural feeling where you're like, this is all Dave. He's going to love it. He's going to come in here. I don't even got to tell him. I don't even got to tell him how much I love it because I already know he's going to love it. I just got to get him in the door.
She suckered me in.
Yeah.
I will neither confirm nor deny these accusations. I plead the fifth. No, I knew when I started working there, I said, I'm going to get him in this space.
Nice.
I'm going to get him in here to look at this. Yes. Because he needs to be, like, something's going to happen if he sees it.
Okay.
Because it's spooky. Okay. The space is spooky.
Very much so, yeah.
Okay.
It's beautiful in the daytime, and then at night it's spooky.
The greater majority of the work that SEI Studios does that they self-produce is horror or thriller kind of work. As a matter of fact, the first collaboration that Carla and I did together was a short film called Bloodlines, which was a horror film about a daughter reuniting with her mom. And that was actually Carla and I's first collaboration. It came off so well that we were like, we need to find another opportunity to go ahead and work together again. And when she presented this one, I was like, oh man, yeah, I would love to work with you again. But yeah, she sold me with the location. It was time to get to writing as soon as I got up in there.
Literally, I don't think it was 3 weeks before he turned the script around and was like, just read this.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is just read it.
Nice.
And hold on, Jakaya, let me give you a glimpse of how Carla and I work together.
Okay.
So I turned over the first draft to her. Let me tell you, this is 20 years of friendship where a motherfucker can be this blunt, right? I turned over the first draft to her and she goes, this is why filmmakers don't write.
I did not say that. He lies all the time on me. If you listen to Dave Johnson, a.k.a. DJ, a.k.a. that Negro, if you listen to him talk, you would think I was just so brutal. I refuse. I plead the fifth. I didn't say that. That's not true.
Yeah, I think there was. You're right. She didn't say it exactly like that because I think there was some expletives thrown in there.
No, but what I say about him all the time is nobody is going to write those visuals like he does. Nobody is going to set those shots like he does.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can do what Dave does on paper at all. Period. Like when you read it, you know what he's doing. But dialogue.
He got the shots, but the words, how that works?
Let me tell you something. This is why she and I work so well together. With Bloodlines, it was the same thing. I knew exactly what I wanted the story to be about. I understood the structure of the story, all that good fun stuff. Why Zoom? Go away Zoom. But it was a story about two black women, a mother and daughter team. And I wasn't going to sit there and try to write an exchange, a very intimate exchange between two black women when I'm like, that's not an experience that I understand. So I reached out to Carla and I was like, okay, Carla, here, this is the structure. This is what I want this to be about. Now I need you to fill it in with that conversation. Because it was really the two of them just sitting there on the couch. So, yeah, and that came out excellent.
Like, this is what I want to see.
Because, it's easy because the story is already told. Like, he never sends me an unfinished story. He doesn't send me something that does not have a beginning, a middle, and arc. Like, I know the inciting incident. I know the story. So to sweeten and enrichen the dialogue is never hard when I work with Dave, ever. Because the story's there. you know? So, and that's why it works so well with us.
And she knows neither one of us had that ego. I don't mind the gut punch. I don't mind you coming back and giving me the raw about what you feel like, because it needs to be corrected. I'd rather she tell it to me out of love than we get there in the theater and folks is like, man, that looks beautiful, but what are they saying? What is that shit?
And the other thing is, out of the love, we fight about it. Like, sometimes he'll fight for something. Be like, I want it to be. I'm like, lies, big bro, lies. That's corny. That's corny, and we ain't doing it. Now, one thing I did remember saying to him is that I called it a telenovela.
Yes.
It was now, at one point he wrote something. I said, now, do you want this to be a real scene or a telenovela? Like, what is we trying to do? Because this feels real like La Cha-Cha in this mug right now. I am not with it. So, and he fight me on it. Be like, no, I'm trying to do like, all right. Like, but it is that lack of ego from both of us. Like, we can fight about it. We can debate about it. We can have dance fights about who should be cast. Yeah. He brought an actor in one day.
Oh, wow. Y'all telling it all. Go ahead. What happened?
I didn't even sit in his audition. I walked out and I came back when he was done. I said, that boy can't act. And he was like, well, how do you know? I said, because he can't act. I could smell it.
I can smell it. What?
And he was like, but he auditioned. I said, I'm telling you, he's stupid and he can't act. And then his eyes glazed over and he was like, he was a little stupid. I said, he was stupid because I could see it. I could see the stupid. I didn't have to be in the room for that.
I believe the word you used was he's too stupid to act. I think that's.
I did say that because acting is a smart people's game. Like, acting is not for the stupid. So yes, I did say it. I said it just like that. Then I told him, I said, let's just cast. Let me go get actors. Don't hold auditions. No, David want to hold auditions. I said, all right, you hold your audition.
We had audition. I walked out of there with 2 people. That's it. 2 people.
I told him, I said,
out of how
people
many?
are going to be bad.
It was about 20 folks that were signed up for the audition. A bunch of folks didn't show, but of the ones who did show, but I was able to get two actors cast out of the audition. The rest of it, and the 2 that I cast were not the leads. Now keep in mind, understand this. I had gone down and I bought the production insurance, so that's over $2,000. Drop that down. Anybody who does productions know. When that money's paid, that thing's happening. I don't care if I got to play every actor that's out there. This movie is happening. Okay?
Yes.
So the money got dropped out there. That was in that was in the middle of August. I held auditions at the end of August because we were supposed to go into production at the end of September. I came on those auditions at the end of August with 2 actors. Both of them were supporting characters. Turned out to be absolutely wonderful. Zeke Stewart and Dariana Barnes. But
yes.
I didn't have my 2 lead actors. I did not have my shine and I didn't have my Tay. So, first of all, after this one got done gloating, because she told me going into it, I don't know why we hold auditions in the first place. This is ridiculous. All of the good actors are working anyway. You just got to call them and tell them to do it. So I'm like, no, I love the audition process. So she turned out to be right on that one.
So, Miss Carla, how did you find your cast?
I've been working in Chicago theater and with actors literally since I was a child. Mm-hmm. This is my city. I know them all. I've directed most of them when I had my theater company, or they're friends of mine. So I took pick up the phone. What you about to do? Approach. And what had happened was, and I like to say that I'm pleasant to work with. Mm-hmm. So most of the actors had already worked with me, and when I call them, they know it's going to be a hootenanny. But what was interesting was we were still looking for Talia, and I told Dave, I said, "There's a girl in the show," because at the time I was producing another show, a dance piece, and I said, "There's a girl in the show that would be perfect for one of the characters, the young woman." because the character was supposed to look young, and one of our concerns was we need this character to look like she's 15, 16, but the thing she has to do, we need her to actually be a grown-up. Mm. So this girl came into this other project. I was like, she's beautiful. She's little. She's 26. She looks like she's 16. Mm-hmm. For real. So I was like,
when I see the film, I'm going to be like, that's her.
Yeah, you will. So I'm going to be like, so I was like, yeah, Dave, I want you to meet her. So I introduced them before, because they were at rehearsal one day when we were having a meeting. I introduced them, and then he did the video for the show for my other artists. And after he saw her, he was like, that's it. I want to give her the lead. Like, because she's cold.
Yeah.
So it was like that was just serendipity, you know? And sometimes it works out like this. And this is why I don't like holding auditions. Because I already know who's on the ground. Okay. So I ain't doing that.
I mean, she when I say she pulled together a group of all-stars, I mean, she pulled together a group of all-stars. The only other person that I knew when I wrote this that I already had cast was this actress named Coco Alyssis.
And Andre Teamer, too.
And Teamer, yeah. I knew about the two of them. Teamer worked on a project that we're going to talk about later called Paradigm Gray. Mm-hmm. And when I saw his performance and heard his voice, I was like, man, that voice alone is what I want for this character and spokes. Mm. And then Coco and I have worked together on 4 separate projects. So I pretty much knew I was going to write a character just for her. Mm. So those 2 characters were cast, but everybody else, including my 2 leads, Carla went out and just flat said, hey, what you doing? You in a movie. Come on. And it was like she went and grabbed Jordan and LeBron. And I mean, everybody she brought to the table was heavy hitter after heavy hitter after heavy hitter. And I mean, everything just came together so well.
Yeah, because I've known James Gordon since 96 when my car was in the shop and he was working there. And we ended up going to eat. Like, I've known him for years. I knew him well before he started acting. Yeah. Andre and I have been on stage together for 25 years. Me and Coco have been friends since the 90s. Like, Sean, the guy that's doing our, Sean Wallace, that's doing our score. Again, he's my composer. Like, we've written like 4 musicals together. We're writing one right now. So it's, this is just, that's what I mean when I talk about community. Mm. When I talk about making sure you build your team and your community and you are always kind to each other and you look out for each other and you find work for each other. Like, and that's why it's got to be
like-minded about it.
Right. And like a lot of them know Dave's work. They know him just from the scene, from the set. So me saying, come do this film with me and my partner was nothing. Everybody's like, this is fun. Yeah. Like, let's do it, and they read the script, and the script was just, like the story that DJ brought together was just is powerful, and it's current.
Okay,
it's one of those things you hate to keep talking about the script because we wrote the script and it ends up sounding narcissistic, but it really, really did come out to be a very, very good script.
We don't mean to toot our own horn, but toot, beep.
Play a jazz solo. That mother was nice.
Well, what it is, it turned out nice because what's going on, like literally, little Black girls are being snatched off the street in droves every day. Yeah. And it's just in the news. Transgender women, Black transgender women are just being murdered in droves. Yeah. And nobody finds them and nobody looks for them and nobody cares. Yeah. So the story that Dave created was the backstory about why this happens. And it feels real because it's about a money grab. And that's the only reason we would be experiencing this type of loss in our community. Yeah. And nobody would be researching it because nobody cares what happens to Black women. And that's a fact.
Yep. Wow. Or little Black kids at all.
Yeah.
At all. So, and we know whatever it is, it's a money grab. So the script it's so palpable, like you can taste it because it's what's happening, and we are sitting around like, why isn't anybody doing anything? What is this?
This episode of the Indie Center podcast is brought to you by Spotify, the place where you can listen to your favorite artists and podcasts for free. Did you hear me? You don't even need a premium membership. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcast so you never miss an episode. Are you subscribed to me yet? Wink, wink. Premium users can download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, and that is so convenient. How many times have you found yourself in an airplane or driving down a road with no reception and you just want to escape but can't? You are stuck sitting next to somebody that snores, or you're stuck in a meaningless conversation and you just want to listen to podcasts. Well, now you can, guys. And you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends on Instagram. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to download the Spotify app and search for Indie Center Podcast on Spotify, or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. Also, make sure to follow me so you never miss an episode.
And so the script answers that question for us in a way.
Okay.
You know?
Wonderful. A lot of what I hear you saying, too, has to do with what it means to be an independent filmmaker. You wear multiple hats. Sometimes you're holding auditions, or you're just snatching people up. Hey, I know you're good. I want to put you in here. But tell me more about like what that truly embodied, being an independent filmmaker.
Well, I'll tell you this. First and foremost, I consider myself to be an artist.
Okay.
And the realm of art that I work within is filmmaking. I usually, if you talk to someone and they classify themselves, they say they're a director or they're a producer or they're a writer. Okay, this is where they box themselves into. But if you say you're an independent filmmaker, you really are an entrepreneur in filmmaking. And by that, you are responsible for a multitude of things, which can include writing, producing, directing, executive producing, marketing on the back end. You may do the editing. You may end up having to work to get it distributed, working with the lawyers. You know, you're going to have to take this process all the way through. So it's just like being an inventor and trying to bring your product to market. You are associated with every aspect of it. That's why it drives me absolutely batty when I see the credits run on an independent feature and the same person's name is attached to everything. It's like, you know, written by this person, directed by this person, gaffed by this person. It's like, if you're an independent artist, that's assumed. You know, grab you two titles. Like you on this, you actually just see created by David W. Johnson and Carla Stillwell. Maybe it will designate me as a director. Maybe it'll designate us as writers. I don't know. But that's the designation that fits best for our responsibility and our role on this.
Okay. Now, I understand that is important, but also how do you credit then your roles on IMDb, which is also just as important to show your body of work?
I'm going to tell you this. I've been in the business since 98. You're not going to find a single thing out there. I have not registered for IMDb. That's irrelevant to me. To me, when people go out to IMDb, it is... I mean, I imagine it's a place that's like their resume. I imagine it's a place where, you know, but I'm about the art. To me, my work speaks for me. And ultimately, folks that want to work with Dave Johnson work with Dave Johnson because of what it is that they've seen. They don't need to see the list. They saw my last project. And that was enough to make them go, wow, you know, I want to work with him on his next project. Or the people that have worked with me come back and they have such a great report. So I don't need the credentials of IMDb. I don't put my stuff out there.
And I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not a.
I drug her into this.
I'm not a filmmaker. Like I'm not. This is not my land, and these are not my people. Like I am not. I'm not on IMDb. I'm not. And again, something else he and I share. I don't give a fork or two knives. I really don't. I make art.
Yeah.
I create pretty things.
Yeah. Okay.
I create poignant things.
Yeah.
I make things for people to take into themselves and enjoy and feel and walk away changed with. I ain't never, and that's probably why I still have no money, because I never think about it.
It's coming, Mama. Hang on.
Because I don't think about it like that. I'm not trying to sell myself. I'm trying to create the best piece of art that I can.
Yep.
And he and I agree on that 100%. Like, we go into this, like we tried to have a business conversation about contracts and shit. Like, we've been trying to have it for like 5 months. And then we were like, we're going to talk about it. And then it's like, let's smoke this ball. Like, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. We're going to do something else again. This shit is beautiful. If somebody going to see it, it doesn't matter what they think about it. We feel good. Our cast feels good. When anybody who sees it is changed, and then we'll do something else.
And the love is there enough that we know that when the money show up, everybody gonna eat.
Everybody's really gonna eat.
Everybody.
And that's the other thing about building this community. Ain't nobody in here on no money grab shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how we roll around here. Like, everybody's gonna be able to pay them bills off. Everybody's gonna be able to pay them student loans. Yeah. We gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So the quest is always, how do we make the most beautiful, poignant project?
That's it.
I love it.
I don't want people to watch my movies. I want them to experience my art. That's the way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I need you to have an experience.
Do you plan, or have you looked into any competitions, any submissions, or anything like that?
Well, the project isn't completed. We shot it in the fall of 2019, and it is still in the final stages of post-production. Everything's been completed on it. The picture's locked. The color grading's been done. The sound has been cleaned up. Right now, the music's being scored, and the final mix will be done, and then the final visual effects. So I'm looking at a completion date of April 15th. So I'm giving myself about another 20 some odd days to go ahead and get it completed. The thought process thereafter was to take it on a couple city tours. I wanted to give it a theatrical life for a second. One, to get the word out about it and help build our audience, and two, to go ahead and secure some of the money that was spent on the pilot. You want to be able to get that back.
Yeah.
So that was the goal, and then COVID-19 hit, right?
And then this raggedy bitch, COVID. I swear to God.
Oh, raggedy bitch.
Yes.
Listen, I don't want to get into the COVID sits stands up on the corner in front of the liquor store, packs some weed like this.
With a hole in her sock. With a hole in her sock.
No, listen, COVID has dirt, the bottom of her feet are dirty, and she has a flip-flop. COVID is the most raggedy, going to pick up her kids from school in booty shorts and an old Ugg boot that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, man.
Raggedy. Okay, I'm off my COVID tangent.
When we post this, we're going to say, this is how we feel about COVID.
Like, literally, COVID-19, that's her name, because she was 19 when she had her fourth baby.
Wow. Speaking of birth, that was a bad transition. But anywho, Miss Carla.
We got there. That's all that matters.
Miss Carla, I understand that you just celebrated a birthday with COVID.
I did. It was great. Because I didn't have to talk to anybody. Because I'm an entertainer and my whole life was canceled. So, yes, Wednesday, March 18th in the year of our Lord 2020, I turned 564 months old. Divide that by 12, you'll know how old I am. I'm 47. I'm just tripping. I just like to say the months. Because I think
is that really how many it is?
Yes, it's 564 months.
She's a writer. Trust me, that's accurate.
So that's how many months I am. I'm 47. I am, and what did I do on the birthday? I sat in the house. I was sober for most of the day because I had been drunk for 2 days.
Oh, Lord.
So I had to give my kidney a break for a few minutes.
What about your lungs?
Listen, my lungs were fine because I wasn't,
Okay.
But my liver, I had to pull out my second liver. So I had to I had to hang up and dry out my second liver for the first half of my birthday. Then I went and picked up Ethiopian food because we can't sit no fucking where in Chicago, which is whack. And then I went to my friend's house and I gossiped. So it was a great day.
Okay.
I'm just glad last year I went to New Orleans and I had a real birthday, so I don't feel super shitty. Yeah, so thank you for calling it out. She is she's getting closer and closer to 50 every minute.
Yes, but even as seasoned as you are still an award winner, artistic director. As you were talking about Impact Theater, you didn't mention all the awards you won that I came to learn.
I've won a few awards.
Just a few.
I'm pretty good at what I do. I'm pretty good at what I do. Well, but for me, it goes back to I don't talk about all that because I didn't care.
Yeah.
I never cared.
So you wasn't doing it for the awards?
I did at the time. I got a Best Supporting Actor when I was 24 years old, and I cared a whole lot about it at the time. Now I look back on it and I'm like, who gives a shit? I can't even tell you what that award is.
See, and my thing is, I was raised by an artist, like a real artist. And my two of my father's siblings were singers and groups and shit. So in my family, it was like getting an A. So you got the A. So what you gonna do next semester? Like for me, I just don't. It's nice. It's always nice to be recognized. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's nice to be recognized. It's nice to get good reviews. It helps in your next project. But it's never why I get up in the morning and write.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's never why I direct the show. It's never why. I do it because I love it.
Yes.
And I appreciate the artists I work with.
Nice. And I understand that Stillwell Institute for Contemporary Black Art came out of love and appreciation for art.
Oh, yeah. It came because my grandmother told my mama in the 50s, my mother was like, I want to go to the Art Institute. My grandmother was like, you better go learn to be a secretary so you can get a job. So my mother, her whole life, she was a seamstress, she was a painter, she was a crafter, she sculpted. So her whole life she did those things. And when I was born, she was 38. And it was the first time in her life she didn't have to go right back to work. And that's when she started painting for real. That's when she started working in oil. And she was self-taught. And that meant, and she never looked at my sisters and I was like, I want y'all to live my dream. She just modeled art making. So my sisters all played instruments and spoke languages and wrote poetry. And I was like, I'm the youngest. My sisters were 19, 18, and 8 years older than me. So I'm from all these older people in college and doing what they want. So I just want to make sure I give that same gift to other artists.
Yeah.
The gift, the permission, especially Black artists.
Yeah.
The permission to be an artist is important to me.
Yeah.
So that's where the Institute was born.
Love it. Love it. And David has his own club, institute as well. Part of a group called the Paradigm Gray, a Black filmmaker collective.
Yeah. It's what Paradigm Gray is. It's a collective of Black filmmakers here in Chicago that specialize in sci-fi and horror. Right now, the group consists of the brother that started it was a brother named Chris Adams with Impact Studio. Him and Hannah are the partners for Impact. And then there was myself, Jonathan Woods, and Ted Crowder over at Bright Seed, Tommy Sigmund, and then Cassandra Bell with Cassandra Bell Studios. We all got together and did this anthology of Black horror and sci-fi, because you don't see that, right? All our movies tend to be the same kind of stuff. It's either the hood gangster stuff or the romance comedy, or, but you don't really see us doing a whole lot of sci-fi and horror. So we went out and did it.
Okay, wonderful. So with that, each of you went out and put together your own productions and, was able to build this collective production with that.
Yeah. And actually, the production that I did is the one that Carla and I worked on. That was Bloodlines.
Wow.
Yeah. And the lead actress in that, it was Coco Alyssis, who is also in Spokes and two other productions that I did.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. I understand that you also have SEI Studios. What is SEI?
Yes. SEI, well, I started in 98 when it was Showcase Productions, and the purpose of the company was to showcase independent artists here in Chicago that had not had the opportunity to get their name or their recognition out there. It's a lot of talent here in Chicago that people just, for this reason, that reason, and third, folks have not seen them. I explain to people all the time, at any given point in time, 98% of artists are out of work, or actors are out of work, which is why you see the same actors over and over again. That 2% is what are the ones that are getting all the work. But there's a lot of talented folks that are not getting out there. So I started Showcase Productions. The name ended up changing somewhere around 2005 to Showcase Entertainment, Inc. And then that got way too damn long to put in the URL, so I changed it to SEI Studios. And that's ultimately what we ended up becoming. But the goal and the mission of the company has never changed. Which is to showcase the art of these folks who have not gotten out of there. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we were very conscious of in doing Spokes was working with young people who had not had the opportunity to work on an actual set. And the greater majority of my crew, the median age was about 23, 24 years old. I mean, these were young folks. And I wanted to make sure that they had that experience. The same thing with some of the actors that were involved. Again, Dariana and Zeke and even Ashley and Brandon. I think this was Brandon's first feature that he was getting involved with. So it was just it's this mentality of being able to share these things that we've learned over the years and giving these young folks a chance, because ultimately they're the ones that's going to be doing this, right?
Right.
The goal is to get to the point where folks like me and Carla just kind of sit back in a chair and say action and let these young kids go out there and do the dancing.
Right.
Okay. Wonderful.
All I ever want to do is go get the money and run my mouth. Like all that. Like that's it. Like, let me go get this money for y'all and run my mouth.
That was her sole function on the set of Spokes, dude. She was the mother on set. It's like, what is your functionality? My functionality is to resolve problems and be the mother. Shit, that's my.
I was the resident mama, and I'm with it. I'm with the shit. Let's make choices.
So that is my goal. My goal is to set up the company such that we can do movies where Carla can just sit around and be mama on set. That's it.
Be like, did you eat? The lunch is here. Did you eat?
Okay, I love it.
Move this. Somebody move this. Why is it still sitting here?
She getting into it right now.
I'm cold. Where's my shawl?
Where's my rap? I'm not sitting out here with y'all.
And then the crew be like, did somebody say rap? Good, I'm done. Let me get it.
Oh, it was so much fun. Oh, it was a blast.
So I'm going to ask this question of the cast when they come in, but and we're going to get into Spokes more as well. But tell me, how was your experience with this? You know, being that you created a piece of art that does touch on a very heavy topic. So what was your experience like in all of this? From beginning to end, from the first birth of the idea to the execution, casting, and then here it is. Here's our baby.
I'm gonna tell you this, and this is something that, and this is an honest truth that I've shared with a lot of people. The universe needed this to happen. It really needed this project to happen, because there were so many obstacles that popped up in the birth of Spokes that could have shut this whole thing down. I mean, really, really fast. That seemed to move itself out of the way. Things that lined up, again, going into it 1 month out, and I don't have my lead actress. Boom, it fixed itself. Didn't find out that we had a major location that we needed that possibly right up there until the last week we weren't even going to get. A lot of folks don't know this. We ran out of money in the third week of production.
Oh, wow.
And had to go ahead and fix a couple holes there. So there was just a couple different places. One of our actors had a car accident.
James Gordon.
Yes, had a car accident during the filming. Yes,
he had a major accident. It was not little.
Yes, yes.
And then he was fine. Like, yeah.
There was temperature issues. It was freezing out there. I mean, it was just a.
God! It was the unfortunate heater incident of 2019.
Yes, yes. The heater incident of 2019. I went and got this huge area space heater from Home Depot because it was going to be about 39 degrees on the last night that we were out there shooting. It was a night shoot, so we were planning on being out there for a very long time. And the damn kerosene heater would not work. Would not fire up to save his life. And ultimately we would have to shoot for about 15 minutes, let everybody go inside for 30 minutes, come back in. It was that cold outside. But they hung in there. They actually kept me going. There was a couple times I told them, I said, I'm about to rewrite the ending to this bitch. Everybody about to ride off to the sunset because it's cold. But they stuck in there, and the more they hung in there, the more I decided to hang in there. And we were able to get it done. But there's a ton of challenges associated with this, but it's been a very magical experience. The shooting of it was great. I mean, it was the set. One of the actors talked about how the actors and crew of the Black Panther talked about that feeling of camaraderie and being around family. That's what our actors and crew talked about. They talked about that's what that set felt like. So the experience of it has just been incredible, and then ultimately to look at the cut of it. Because as a director, you never know if your ideas work until you are sitting there and you've watched the cut of it. That's when okay, this came together. And man, I mean, it just laid out so beautifully.
Like literally, we went through 3 seasons during the shoot. Like it was every temperature the whole time. It was crazy. There was so many crazy things. But it is one of those experiences, and you've had them, we've all had them in life, where there's a calm inside of you. Like, no matter what was going on, I never thought it was going to fail. And I kept telling this crazy one, I kept saying to him, it's fine, it's done. And he was like, no, but we gotta work. I'm like, nah, son. It's a wrap. It's done. It's fine. Because in my soul, from the time from the moment he stepped into that space that I brought him to, I knew it was done. I didn't even know what it was, but I knew it was fine. And it was no matter what was going on set, no matter how frustrating. And again, it's frustrating. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. It's a lot of different kind of crazy, but no matter what happened, it was okay. It was fine. So it was really a great time. It was magical. And I've seen the rough cut. It's beautiful. I can't wait for people to see it because it's just gorgeous. It's just a beautiful experience. So, yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
We're
excited. Excited. No. I am not a singer like Miss Carla, but I did have fun with Miss Stillwell and DJ. And oh baby, if you thought we were a good time, tune in 2 weeks and we will be joined by the cast. And let me tell you, you are in for a treat. I am your host, Jakara N. Holman, and this is Indie Center Podcast. See you next time.